Good day, viewers and listeners, and welcome to the Progress Report. I am Godfrey Brooms, and with me in studio is the Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Edghill. Minister Edghill, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me, and greetings to all of your viewers and listeners.
Starting the program off, Minister, how would you describe Guyana's current infrastructural landscape?
Progressing would be one word. It is an interesting situation because when we came to government in August of 2020, we had to do two things. Begin the implementation of the new things that we said to the people of Guyana we're going to do. And then we had to salvage, rehabilitate, repair, and revive the things that were neglected, in some cases abandoned, and in some cases just left to waste. So while we are having reason to celebrate some of the new things that are happening, for example, some of your viewers might not have been able to see it, but the new road from the Quarantine Highway to the Kanchi Creek that opens up new land for agriculture and other purposes is well advanced. There are men in the bush right now cutting the alignment from Timiri to Bartica, the Sandhills Bartica Road. There are men who are cutting the alignment and doing the preparatory work for the Del Conte Road, Perica to Goshen. The alignment has already been mapped out for the Schooner to Perica Road. We are at the final procurement stage for the Ogle Eccles 4-lane road to be funded by the government of India. We are at the final stage, final procurement stage, which is basically waiting for the no objection from the Caribbean Development Bank for the Linden to Mabura Hill Road. We are at the negotiations stage for the new Demerara River Bridge crossing, with anticipation of wrapping that up for a contract in the shortest possible time. These are some of the new things that we said we will do. But as it relates to infrastructure, we had to fix, already since we were in office, more than 700 community roads. We've had to do dozens of urban roads. And then we've had to do hundreds of kilometers of hinterland roads. Maintenance, rehabilitated, sectional repairs. These are things that we've had to do. And that's just only in the area of roads. When we look at sea defenses, we've had to run and deal with emergencies, like when we came into government, the whole Danzig content Maikoni area. But then we've also had to deal with structured expansion and development of sea and river defenses, including responding to the situation in the Pomeroon River. So it has been sweet in that the visionary projects that President Irfan Ali has outlined for Guyana, we've been able to forge ahead with that. And that is a good, because that will bring real benefits and new levels of opportunities to the people of Guyana. But then we've had to be fixing things that were neglected and broken. The Demerara Harbor Bridge, while we are building and finalizing the negotiations to the start of construction and getting a contract signed for the new Demerara River crossing, we've had to do extensive rehabilitation work on the current Demerara Harbor Bridge. You would have known that we've had some closures to facilitate work on the weekend. We still have to have a number of closures to continue some of that work, and then we have to find a way how we'll be able to facilitate the removal of span 9, the old span 9, and bringing in of the new span 9, which is being constructed off-site. The ferries, which fall under our portfolio, we've had to get them moving and deal with all of the emergencies. These are aging vessels. We have to get them dry docked, the engines running, the generators keep moving. And some of these vessels are so old that the acquisition of spares could be a very difficult thing because of the age of those vessels. So while we are doing that with the current fleet, we've been able to advance the new ferry vessel, which will be out of India, being built in India. That should be here by October of this year, and that will serve the Region 1 area. And while the ferry is being built and finalized, we're advancing work to get the stellings retrofitted and rehabilitated for this new ferry, because it's a roll-on, roll-off ferry. So we have to fix Kumaka, Morowaina, Port Kaituma, and of course Georgetown, the Kingston goods wharf owned by the Transport and Harbors, where people travel from. So it has been two things that have been going: fixing and maintaining what has been, and seeking to bring into focus the establishment of that which is in a new agenda. As it relates to the airport, we've had to get the Chinese company to fulfill their performance on the Chedijagan International Airport. And I don't need to repeat it here. That was no easy feat. It was led from the front by His Excellency President Irfan Ali, when we said clearly we're not going to accept the airport in that fashion. And with that intervention, we've also been able to put in some new features at the airport, which was not part of the contract that we inherited when we came into government. And you would see the construction for that is advancing. The new curtain wall, the superstructure to put concession areas, and the corridors to facilitate 2 additional boarding bridges. So that has been a challenge. Our hinterland airstrips, we've had to maintain, ensure that they're safe for landing and takeoff. but we also are moving in the direction of upgrading these airstrips. Many of them have been neglected, no work really done on them for many, many, many years, and more particularly over the last 5 years. And in those conditions, when maintenance is not done and they become overgrown and deteriorated with potholes, it becomes more and more expensive to fix. So that is where we are. I would wish to say that we have everything in place for our infrastructure, but the reality is the answer to that is no. We've been seeking to maintain what was, and we're building on that and carrying it to the next level. There's still lots of things that have to be done. While we are solving traffic congestion and travel time between Diamond and Georgetown, or on the west side to Georgetown, we still have to think about Diamond to Tamiri. And we have to look at upgrading what is and then get the whole 4-lane that is coming through from Ogle to Eccles to get that on to Diamond and then on to Tamiri. Linking the two international airports, we have to continue to do that. We have to ensure that communities have adequate roads and road and traffic safety in those communities by ensuring we have sidewalks, street lights, proper drainage. So it's been an unending task, but quite satisfying because we are forging ahead.
Thank you, Minister. You mentioned about the upgrading of Stellings to facilitate the ferry that will be placed in Region 1. Can you update us on the status of the 3 Stellings that contracts would have been awarded for the upgrades to them, contracts totaling more than $40 million?
Most of the work right now is still at the design stage. We have the consultancies that are doing the design, and that is particularly for the Stellings at Kumaka, Marawaina, and Port Kaituma, and of course the Georgetown Goods Wharf. But while we are fixing that, or those stellings to the Region 1, there is still work that is ongoing at other stellings. We've had to do additional works at Purika, of course, and also maintaining it at Supernam. We are putting in a brand new stelling at Fort Island. That is more than 75% complete. That's a project that was awarded in 2021. It's a multi-year project. It will be completed in this budgetary cycle, but way before the end of this year. The work is continuing at Legwan, and we have to get the stalled situation at Bartica revived. So extensive work is being done across the country.
Coming back to your previous statements about the Purika to Schoonard Road and the Del Conte Road, can you give us an idea of when actual construction will begin on these 2 major roads?
I would urge you and all citizens to listen to the presentation of Budget 2022, which would be read by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, because we anticipate funding for the advancing of these projects to the next stage.
Without getting into the things included in Budget 2022, what can Guyanese expect from your ministry in this year, though, Minister?
We are working on ensuring more efficient implementation, which would mean we want to ensure that we have greater quality, timely interventions, value for money, better designs to ensure we have more durable and resilient infrastructure, and a better engagement when projects are being executed in communities, the relationship between contractor and the community to ensure people are satisfied, aware, and appreciative of what is taking place on the ground. Those are some of the things people can anticipate.
Thanks, Minister. Only last evening in the National Assembly, the Prime Minister would have reassured Guyanese that the Milo Falls Hydro project is still on the cards of the PPPC government, like the President had said before and the Vice President. Can you tell us what is being done now actively for this project to come on stream?
Well, it is public knowledge that expressions of interest were invited. Several companies would have responded. The Cabinet has offered its no objections for negotiations with a selected company, and it is my understanding that those negotiations are ongoing, and that is to ensure the best rates. I think we are saying no more than 7.7 cents US per kilowatt hour.
Minister, the Sheriff the Mandela Road project, can you tell us if it has been completed in totality?
No, it's not completed in totality. It is substantially complete, but it's not completed in totality. If you go out there now, you will see work is still ongoing. There's a contractor that is dealing with the traffic signals. You will see a contractor that is still dealing with the road markings, the markings on the road. And still to be installed would be the signs, traffic signs.
Minister, you mentioned also that over 700 community roads would have been rehabilitated or constructed. Can you state in which area most of these roads would have been done?
It's difficult to say which area. What I have to say is in every area. Because what we did is that we did work in every local authority area and every municipality and in every region. We engaged the local authorities, the regions, as well as the municipalities to identify what were their priorities. We looked at what they were doing, and we were able to do extensive work in all of the areas. So the 2020 budget and the 2021 budget catered for that approach. Miscellaneous roads, community roads, in every local authority area. And it's what you might want to call the NDCs and the municipalities. And also, we did work in the regions.
And of course, Minister, this is continuing in 2022.
Definitely, it's our approach to development to ensure that development comes to all communities. Hinterland, urban, rural, in every place. And this has nothing to do with how people voted. This has to do with bringing development to Guyana. Yes, we have done extensive work in Region 6. Currently, the President went up to Mara and he ordered specific performance, works to the tune of $100 million, and work is ongoing in Mara. He went to other communities and works were executed. Region 10, we did work in Kukwani. We did work in the mines, what you call the Linden mines, Three Friends and Old England and Kumaka, and we did work in Linden proper, both Mackenzie and Wisma, including waterfront development projects in Linden. We did the Washapan Road, which is the main artery, and many other things were done in Region 10. Then we can go to Region 1. We have done work in Mabaruma, in Maruka, in Port Kaituma, in the Matthews Ridge area. You go to Region 2, in every NDC in Region 2. You go to Region 3, in every NDC in Region 3, Region 4, Region 5. In Region 7, the same thing obtained. In Region 8, we engaged the communities, 20 communities, with community contracts to do the roads linking one village to the next village, while there's a major program that is doing the road linking Region 9 and Region 8. So everywhere we are.
Minister, can you also update us on the rehabilitation of hinterland airstrips?
Well, this is a big exercise. We have started. One of the things that we have requested in our engagement with the Ministry of Finance in preparation for Budget 2022 is a greater allocation. Not just sums for maintenance, which would mean keeping the grass, cutting the edges, and the rest of it, but we're also looking at upgrades. So these airstrips must be kept open no matter what is the weather condition or the weather pattern. And it has to be a phased approach. So yes, we have recently awarded contracts or works to be done in Itteringbank, which is an area that it was in a deplorable condition. We have completed extensive work at Lethem, which was done in the 2020 budget allocation, through the 2020 budget allocation. We have to deal with issues at Carisparrow, and we're just forging ahead. So hinterland airstrips are very, very key. We want safety every time a plane lands and every time a plane is to take off. We've had some incidents, we've had some punctures on landing and runway incidents. We want to be able to remove that, work with our local providers and aircraft owners to ensure that we provide the safest environment for the aviation sector to work in. And that's something that we are committed to, not just in terms of regulations and policing, but in providing the infrastructure for them to operate, and we're advancing that.
And Minister, just before we wrap up the discussion, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Ghana's development and infrastructural development requires the participation of everyone. It requires a collaboration between various agencies. So, you know, in the past, and you haven't been seeing that of recent because we are doing better with collaboration, you'll see a road that is being built, and then GWI comes and dig the road, or GTT come and plants a pole and have to dig, and the road is damaged. So there's greater collaboration between agencies that provide services to the people. But certainly what you would have still been seeing is a community road that is built, and then someone brings in an overweight truck laden with more than what it's supposed to be carrying and break the edge of that new asphaltic concrete road, and then it is left to deteriorate and undermine. So we need greater collaboration when development comes to communities. We need people to be part of safeguarding and maintaining. We saw what happened on the 4-lane Diamond to Eccles 4-lane, where there were the barriers across, preventing the trucks from going, and then somebody still went and broke it down. So we need greater collaboration. We need citizens to buy in, that in order for roads, once significant sums are spent on maintenance and the building of new roads and putting in infrastructure, drainage becomes an important thing, because roads could only last if there is proper and adequate drainage. So we need the NDCs as well as the citizens to partner with us. You don't dig the drains and put the stuff on the parapet and leave it on the parapet. If we put debris on the parapet, the road would not be able to drain. Water is the enemy of asphalt, and there's nothing that destroys a road more than water. Then people proudly take their photographs and send us, says, my road has developed a pothole, or this is the situation with the road. But they didn't put the photograph of the sand, the builder's waste, and the mud that is dug from the trench that is lining the parapets, preventing the road from draining. So we need greater collaboration. We need greater engagement. We need to understand that if we're going to go forward, we just can't keep fixing and fixing the same thing. As we fix something, we have to be responsible to maintain it, so that we be able to free up resources to go on to do something else, and then something else, and then something else. And sooner or later, we'll be able to cover the full landscape. So, infrastructural development is something that requires the participation of all. You know, we've had instances where you put in street lights and then they just disappear. You put in solar lights and then they just disappear. You know, the lights didn't just walk away. Quite recently, we had the cleanup campaign led by His Excellency President Ali, and bins were put in the avenues, and then the bins disappeared, and then they were found in a yard. And now I'm hearing that they're taking the covers from the bins and selling them for $300. We need people to buy in that development is something everybody got to be a part of. The extensive work that we are doing at the Georgetown seawalls, driven by the initiative of Her Excellency, the First Lady. People must know when they get out there, they enjoy the facilities. We don't need to dump our garbage. We don't need to destroy what is there. We need to take care of it, so that what has happened at Georgetown Seawall could take place at Craig, could take place at places on the west coast or the west bank, or in the Quarantine, or at Bartica, or in the Essequibo, or at Linden, so that we could beautify the country. If we have to go back and repair what was damaged, you're not allowing yourself to free up money to do new things. So citizens must see government rolling out development, whether on the soft side or hard development, be appreciative of it, and participate in protecting and maintaining and ensuring that there are no abuses. So there needs to be a real citizens' partnership. That is why I believe President Ali's call for a One Guyana needs to ring a bell in all of us. The Guyana that we are developing, the Guyana that we are working on, is one that all of us will benefit from. When prosperity comes to Guyana in greater measures, all of us will prosper in greater measures. We want to have better schools, better health facilities. We want to have pure drinking water. We want to have better internet connectivity. We want to be able to have better roads to drive on. We want to be able to have more hotels in Guyana. We want to be able to have reliable electricity. So all of us have to play our part in that developmental process and be good citizens, responsible citizens, to safeguard the public assets and to ensure that the investments that are made are lasting.
Thank you very much, Minister. This has been the Progress Report with the Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Edghill. Godfrey Brooms saying goodbye for now.